I got what you need. I got what you want. From down to my knees, I had to turn up. Cover the breeze. Cause you want me back. Yeah, let me hear you burning. Alright. Oh, 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 oh. It is Friday, finally Friday. We have arrived. We have arrived. And we got a few things to discuss today. And it's always good when we make it through a week. You know what I'm saying? We start off Monday, and Mondays can be a little painful. Sometimes they can be good, sometimes they can be painful. Any day can be good, any day can be painful. You know what I'm saying? You never really know. But I'm feeling all right this morning. And after this, I got a little bit of work to do. Tomorrow, I got some stuff I need to do. And then Sunday, we will be having our first members meeting. I'm looking forward to it. I'm thinking we're going to do it at 9 p.m. Eastern time. So I'll update everybody about that. We'll have our first members meeting on Sunday night, and we will be discussing community service efforts. We're going to start off by talking, sharing some resources, having a page we can upload stuff to, figure out an area that we want to target and identify first, and start small and grow out. You know what I'm saying? That's what we're going to do. I know for sure and for certain, I'm going to end up doing a lot of community service work in St. Louis, where I'm from. So a lot of what we'll be doing is, reaching out to different community leaders. I'm looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to it. We got Mike Nice. Oh, thank you, Fritz. I appreciate you. We got Mike Nice. We got Fritz, and we got Miss Tree Moon. Aaron, The Murphy Show. Nick. Y'all got some work I'm going to be doing over the weekend, but it's all right. But I'm definitely looking forward to Sunday evening. Who else we got in the building right now? We got Nat in the building. Ryan. Good morning, Ryan. Playing some smooth tunes in the background. All right. Let's go ahead, and we using this one today. We using this bad boy today. The Pretty Glass Pipe. All right. Got my coffee ready as well. What up, G? We got Bibliophile in the building. All right, let's go ahead and take this hit and get into it. What's the temp? It's 70 degrees. It's 70 degrees and cloudy up here in northern New Jersey. But it's not a bad day. It's a relaxing day. It's going to be a slow day, but it's going to be a good day. Good morning, Jesse. Here we go. All right. Good morning, LV. Now, let's see what we're going to start off with today. We got the MAGA rioter turned his back on Trump, I guess. You know what I'm saying? We'll see what this amounts to. MAGA rioter. Trump is the most prominent grifter whose lies spurred me to commit a felony. Shane Jenkins, a Texas man who participated in the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol, is staring down a potentially lengthy prison sentence, but he apparently thinks there are many more people who should be taking the fall for his crimes. It's going to be 91 there today. Yeah, it's nice and cool here. Let's see. In a new court filing flagged by CBS News' Scott McFarlane, Jenkins's attorneys argue that the people who told lies about the 2020 election being stolen, including former President Donald Trump, deserve to be held accountable just as much as their client. Quote, there remain many grifters out there who remain free to continue propagating the great lie that Trump won the election. Donald Trump being among the most prominent, they write. Mr. Jenkins is not one of these individuals. He knows he was wrong. A shame it took him getting into all that trouble to realize that storming the Capitol wasn't a good idea. But regardless, federal prosecutors have singled Jenkins out as a particularly egregious Capitol rioter whom they say planned for violent insurrection long before his arrival in Washington, D.C. for the now infamous Stop the Steal rally on January 6, 2021. As prosecutors documented, Jenkins brought a sharp-bladed tomahawk with him to Washington, D.C., and also threw a desk drawer and a flagpole at police during the riots at the Capitol. Federal prosecutors have recommended a prison sentence of 19 years, while Jenkins's attorneys have said he deserves just 4.5 years in prison. I mean, bro, like, imagine Julio, welcome. But imagine being in this situation, bro. Like, how could you possibly ever think that storming the capital of any country is a good idea, especially over something like this? Like, come on, man. Over Donald Trump, like y'all can't just vote for somebody else next time in this election. You know what I'm saying? They got Trump. They still want to vote for him despite everything that's going on. But hey, whatever. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do except keep on moving on? Greg Gutfield calls for civil war because elections don't work in Bizarre Rant.
Eventually, you have to teach a kid a lesson, and these kids need to be taught a lesson, or they're going to be out there looting another Apple store. It makes a difference that this was an Apple store. If this was a mom and pop shop, he probably wouldn't have said it, but we're talking Steve Jobs, gazillion-dollar market share. He doesn't have the type of temperament. This guy was hired to prosecute crime. He has to prosecute it. Let the judge, let the public defender hash out the rest. If you have a garbage man deciding, oh, you know what? I'm not going to take their garbage today. I'm going to skip this house. No, they're hired to get all of the garbage off the street, and they should. The one-off thing's stupid because in January 6th, I don't think there was a lot of people wandering into the Capitol like people were wandering to the Apple store that had a prior criminal history. That was a one-off. If anything, that was a one-off.
And you can hear it. You hear it from them. 378 people sentenced for trespassing. So we all know the big cases in that and, the horrific offenders in that. But 378 people sentenced in that who were trespassing. Mm-hmm. Many of them did time.
Well, there's only this is called a criminal mulligan, right? But only certain people get criminal mulligans. And January 6 protesters, they don't get criminal mulligans. And here's why. They're the oppressor, right? So the oppressed get criminal mulligans. The people that are complaining, like us, we're actually oppressors and we're losing power. So that's why we're upset. I just got a job at MSNBC. But let's compare the rights between criminals and victims. Okay, the criminals, they get a mulligan. They get to steal up to $900 worth of stuff. They can loiter, sleep, and shoot up in public areas, including playgrounds. They can loot and burn and call it social justice. They can pile up dozens of arrests and never do time. Meanwhile, what about us? Well, we have to change our lives to accommodate risk wherever we go. We have to move out of cities for the sake of the safety of our families and our own safety. That's what's happening. We're being driven out of cities by the oppressed. So
people can't afford to just leave cities. I mean, people are leaving cities, but it's not like, oh, crime's so bad, everyone's just leaving. Like,
turn to my imperfect analogy from yesterday. We had a war over slavery. We knew slavery was inhumane and immoral, but somehow we couldn't solve slavery peacefully. It was an evil. But one side refused to acknowledge that it was evil because it was too big of an admission for them to make. Doesn't that feel that way now? That this defiant refusal to reverse this decline argues against the survival of a country. What does that leave you with? It leaves you with you need to make war to bring peace because you have a side that cannot change because then that means an admission that their beliefs have been corrupt all the time. So in a way, you have to force them to surrender.
Or we could make love, not war.
I tried that once.
God, there's just a table of idiots. Like they're just I don't even know what to say to anything that he just said. Like what? Like we're just gonna move on. What do you even like? What the hell are you even talking about? Now check this out. Now check this out. Now, oh, we got Tina in the building. Hello. IRS places lien on Rudy Giuliani's $4.5 million Palm Beach penthouse, saying he failed to pay more than $500,000 in property taxes. Oh, of course he did. Of course he did. Bro, it's amazing how many people have ruined their lives, ruined their reputations all over Donald Trump, all so they could be close and stick next to Donald Trump. The IRS has placed a lien on Rudy Giuliani's penthouse in Palm Beach, claiming he owes them hundreds of thousands of dollars in unpaid taxes. The lien, signed by a revenue officer on August 21st, is for $549,435.26 in unpaid income taxes from 2021 for the former prosecutor and mayor of New York City. Giuliani's penthouse, which costs an estimated $4.5 million, is now collateral and could be used to repay the taxes if the property is sold. In response to insiders' request for comment, Giuliani's political advisor, Ted Goodman, said Mayor Giuliani, through his accountant, has a formal agreement with the IRS to pay off the liability. The lien isn't the only financial issue Giuliani is facing this year. What else we got? In September, the law firm David Hutcher in Citron filed a lawsuit against Giuliani claiming that he owes $1.4 million in legal representation bills. And none of these people like paying their lawyers. Former President Donald Trump has held fundraisers for Giuliani to try to help pay his legal bills. Insider reported in August that Giuliani also put up his Manhattan apartment for sale for $6.5 million. Well, he's getting sued for $2 million by somebody who claims that he was falsely arrested. Oh my God. Yo, Rudy's fall from grace has been unbelievable, man. Like his fall from grace has been insane. Former mayor of NYC, largely responsible for destroying the mob. I mean, it's still around, but not like it was. It's a lot of that's because Rudy. You feel me? Like, and then and now look at him. A man who dismantled the mob doesn't have the right to be a lawyer anymore. The irony. Matt Gaetz is critical of GOP's move to impeach Biden. It's emerging that Rep. Matt Gaetz really does not think highly of House Republicans' drive to impeach President Joe Biden. This seems like the kind of thing Gaetz would be very excited about, but like many observers, he can see that his fellow Republicans are not doing a very good job of it. That came out during the floor fight to oust Kevin McCarthy as Speaker. Gaetz rebuffed House Judiciary Committee Chair Jim Jordan's defense of McCarthy's leadership by saying, "It's hard to make the argument that oversight is the reason to continue when it sort of looks like failure theater." As it turns out, Gaetz had aired similar complaints days earlier at an online fundraiser with Rep. Matt Rosendale and former Trump advisor Steve Bannon. Quote, "I don't think that we are endeavoring upon a legitimate impeachment of Joe Biden," Gaetz said in the Bannon moderated discussion. "They're trying to engage in a forever war of impeachment," he added. "And like many of our forever wars, it will drag on forever and end in a bloody draw." That's not all, Gaetz also said. "I just don't get the sense that it's for the sake of impeachment. I think it's for the sake of having another bad thing to say about Joe Biden." At the fundraiser, Gaetz claimed he wasn't criticizing Jordan or House Oversight Chair James Comer. And when NBC News asked him about his comments at the fundraiser, he responded, "Kevin wasn't serious. Jim Jordan is." Oh, there you go. See, Jim Jordan, he's different. He's different. He's going to bring the heat like other people won't. You know what I'm saying? Oh, we got Lawrence in the building. Hello, hello. What's going on, brother? How you doing? All right. So Matt Gaetz, he's not a fan of the impeachment, but he's still a fan of Jim Jordan. You know what I'm saying? That's why he wants to get him in there so that I guess the impeachment can actually work. I guess that's his plan. You know what I'm saying? Get Rudy in there. If you want to win, put Rudy in. I guess that's what it is. Trump drops $500 million suit brought against Michael Cohen over, quote, falsehoods. Shondi, hello, hello, hello. What's going on?
How did the Trump organization value an asset? Let's call it Seven Springs. How would the Trump organization value that asset for the SOSC?
For what year?
2000. I mean, it's a general question. It's frankly not per year. It's
Okay.
they have a process. What was the process?
The goal was to use each of the assets and increase its value in order to get to the end result number. It was basically backing in numbers to each of the asset classes in order to attain the number that Mr. Trump wanted.
Okay. So correct me if I'm wrong. What you're saying is there was a number for Seven Springs, for instance. Let's use Seven Springs as an example. And you had to back into that number?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So
What I'm saying, so Mr. Trump would call Alan and I into the office, and let's say it said he was worth $6 billion. Well, he wanted to be higher on the Forbes list, and he then said, I'm actually not worth $6 billion. I'm worth 7. In fact, I think it's actually now worth 8 with everything that's going on. Alan and I were tasked with taking the assets, increasing each of those asset classes in order to accommodate that $8 billion number.
okay.
Yeah, I mean, if they got Jim Jordan up, then yeah, his past is definitely gonna come up. People gonna be talking about that like crazy if he really wants to take that. And I mean, imagine Donald Trump as Speaker of the House. That would just be, oh my God, that would just be horrible. Donald Trump dropped his $500 million lawsuit against his ex-legal fixer, Michael Cohen, for allegedly having spread falsehoods about the former president, including a purported hush money payment made to the porn star Stormy Daniels ahead of the 2016 election. Trump attorney Alejandro Brito asked for the suit to be dismissed without prejudice in a late Thursday court filing, just 6 months after the 77-year-old accused Cohen of breaking a confidentiality agreement between the two. Let's see. My bad, I was reading the text. Given that President Trump is required to sit for deposition in a civil matter on Columbus Day, which is Monday, I'm definitely going to be streaming on Monday. Not to like make a point, but just because I don't really have anything else to do on Monday. So go ahead and join me. If you're going to be around, go ahead and join me because I will be streaming. When he is scheduled to be in the great state of New Hampshire, and while the president is fighting against the meritless claims that have been lodged against him, God, his defense is just so ridiculous. Crooked Joe Biden by 11 points. Nah, bro, you dropped the suit against him because you ain't gonna win it. That's why you dropped the lawsuit against him. What are you talking about? Oh, but yeah. Donald Trump, man. He is an enigma, is he not? He is truly an enigma. But yeah, nah, he dropped the case because he ain't gonna win it. $500 million. Like, dude, get out of here. Donald Trump is the biggest victim on the planet, which is absolutely hilarious. The biggest victim on earth. Oh, we got Ann Coulter. Ann Coulter, what we got going on? Podcaster defending Trump sounds like a battered woman. You wrote a book called "In Trump We Trust," but hey, at least Ann Coulter has it in her to change her mind. You know what I'm saying? At least she has it in her to change her mind. Conservative commentator Ann Coulter compared Republicans wanting former President Trump back in office to an abused spouse making excuses for their partner in a podcast interview released Thursday. Hold up. I'm clicking it over here because we go lit. Oh, no. This is Jesus. Oh, no. And it's Patrick Bet-David. He has gotten so bad over the last few years. Like, it's like his grift into like the manosphere and just kissing Trump's ass is like, Jesus Christ, man. He has gotten so so just She said host Patrick Bet-David acted look, I didn't even read it. And that's what I'm saying. Like, Patrick Bet-David, the way that he kisses Trump's ass is pathetic. It's like, dude, come on. Man, listen, Donald Trump is such a huge stain on people's resume. Listen, let 10 years go by. Let 10, 15 years go by. You know, because like Donald Trump is in a league of his own. Because like with other politicians, it's like, all right, yeah, he did X, Y, and Z, and that was fucked up. But Donald Trump is just a clown. He's just ridiculous. Like, he's just one of the most ridiculous people we've ever seen. So, like, you know, a lot of these people who have these huge platforms who are all up Trump's ass, it's like, man, in 5-10 years, you all are going to just look even more ridiculous than you are, because people are going to be like, you remember how hard you supported Donald Trump? It's really embarrassing, man. But this is hilarious. She said, host Patrick Bet-David acted like a battered woman in supporting Trump for the 2024 election after he didn't fulfill promises like building a wall across the U.S.-Mexico border. She said, hold on, how does she sound? I got to channel my inner Ann Coulter. I need to hear a little bit, but I'll try. You sound like a battered woman making excuses. No, that's not like it at all. I need to hear it. You sound like a battered woman making excuses. Well, maybe he won't hit me next time. Maybe he won't hit me next time, she said. It's been 4 years. He's been beating the crap out of you. He had 4 years, Patrick, 4 years, 2 with the Republican Congress. Oh, I know. He could have not hit me. Maybe he was waiting for our golden anniversary for him to stop hitting me. He was waiting for that perfect time. No, he had 4 years. He didn't build the wall, she continued. I don't know what possible proof you could possibly want. And you know, for as messed up as Ann Coulter is, this is great, because that's why I said it's like, you know, at least she has the fortitude to change her mind. I guess if we're gonna give her some credit, we'll give her credit for changing her mind. Yes, Lindsey Graham is absolutely a battered woman for sure. Like, you know, man, he didn't have to. But this is pretty funny though, because again, Patrick Bet-David he used to be. I mean, he's interviewed like a lot of people, but over the last year, he's just gotten so cringe. Coulter, who backed Trump in 2016, said she was completely soured on Trump has completely soured on him since, mostly over immigration policy. She predicted that a 2024 Trump and Biden rematch would result in a 1964-style landslide victory for President Biden. If it's Trump, I'm not paying attention, she said. I don't want to watch the plane crash. Oh my God. No, that was funny. Again, it's still Ann Coulter, you know what I'm saying? It's still Ann Coulter, but that was pretty good. Oh, here we go. Now we got a video. Jake Tapper ripping the outrageous GOP.
The thing that has, again, shocked, not surprised me, is the lack of response from Republicans. I mean, I don't know if privately you're hearing from Republicans something, but publicly, certainly, if any other politician, Democrat or Republican, had said anything like this, you would think there would be outrage.
When Barack Obama saluted a Marine as president while holding a cup of coffee in his hand, that was Fox News banner headlines for a week, just because he held the coffee in his hand while he did a salute. So, correct. It's outrageous. And one of the things that I think has escaped the notice of a lot of people, but Olivier Knox in the Washington Post noticed today, is that what General Kelly picked up on, that the statement about the assassination, or the execution rather, of General Milley, is that in Kelly's view, Trump doing that, Trump saying, you know, and not so long ago, a guy like Milley would be executed for such a thing. In Kelly's view, that's Trump wanting somebody to act. If you look at the statement that he gave me, wanting somebody to take matters into his own hands, that call for violence. And I think that's one of the things that's so shocking about it is, other than the likes of the Kinzingers and the Cheneys and the Romneys of the world, where are the Republicans, including the Nikki Haley's and the Ron DeSantis's and the Tim Scotts who are running against Trump? Why are they not saying anything about this sort of thing?
What do you mean, why are they not saying anything about it? Because they can't. They can't say nothing about it, because if they do, it's going to destroy like their entire careers. Like, they'll be forfeiting everything they've ever done. Hold up, we got more of Ann Coulter. We not done. We not done with Ann Coulter. Ann Coulter says Steve Bannon advising GOP to commit suicide. Yo, Ann Coulter has been going crazy on Donald Trump. And I love to see it. I love it. You know, I'm certainly not going to tell her to stop. Brother Vincent, good morning. How you doing, man? What's going on this Friday? How you feeling? This we rolling. You know what I'm saying? We about halfway through everything today. And I'm feeling pretty good, man. I'm all right. Good to have you here with us. All right. Oh, hold on. It's got to play on. Why won't it just play here? Damn it. Hold on. We got to go to X. We have to go to X.
My colleagues, Mr. Speaker, my friend from Oklahoma says that my colleagues and I who don't support Kevin McCarthy would plunge the House and the country into chaos. Chaos is Speaker McCarthy. Chaos is somebody who we cannot trust with their word. The one thing that the White House, House Democrats, and many of us on the conservative side of the Republican caucus would argue is that the thing we have in common, Kevin McCarthy said something to all of us at one point or another that he didn't really mean and never intended to live up to. I don't think voting against Kevin McCarthy is chaos. I think $33 trillion in debt is chaos. I think that facing a $2.2 trillion annual deficit is chaos. I think that not passing single subject spending bills is chaos. I think the fact that we have been governed in this country since the mid-90s by continuing resolution and omnibus is chaos. And the way to liberate ourselves from that is a series of reforms to this body that I would hope would outlast Speaker McCarthy's time here, would outlast my time here, and would outlast either of our majorities. Reforms that I have heard some of the most conservative members of this body fight for, and some of the reforms that we've been battling for that I've even heard those in the Democrat caucus say would be worthy and helpful to the House, like open amendments, like understanding what the budget is. We have been out of compliance with budget laws for most of my life.
I mean, what Republican isn't talking about this though? Like, Kevin McCarthy wasn't talking about the same stuff that you're saying right now. You know what I'm saying? And again, if they get like, and just like you pointed out, You don't like my music. When Jim, if they put Jim Jordan in the main spotlight like that, then his past is gonna come up inevitably because he's more in the spotlight. So I don't even, does he even want to do that? Like, you feel me? Ron DeSantis has some fiery words for Donald Trump, apparently. Oh, hold up. We wasn't done with Ann Coulter. Never mind. She didn't have much else to say. Here we go. Ron DeSantis delivers scathing critique of Trump in fiery rant. Don't need any more presidents that have lost the zip on their fastball. All right, what does he have to say? Florida governor yesterday unleashed sharp criticism against Donald Trump, holding the former president accountable for his own defeat to Joe Biden in 2020. And this is what he had to say. He said, "We don't need any more presidents that have lost the zip on their fastball." Is that all he said? Anybody that couldn't? Hold on, what did he say? He added that the party's nomination shouldn't be a coronation, particularly for anybody that couldn't even stop Joe Biden. And then he says, hold on, what did he say? Let's be honest. He energized Democrats. You could have John Kennedy walk through the door right now and he wouldn't energize Democrats as much as Donald Trump does. Yes, that was scathing. That was so rough. And no, that was pretty light, actually. We got Aztec Dragon in the building. Hello. Now, of course. Now, first, let's go over this because I'm sure that y'all have seen this. Like, bro, like this dude, man, bro, he's just so like. Former President Donald Trump reportedly shared details about America's nuclear submarine program with an Australian billionaire, who then went on to tell journalists, foreign officials, and others about the sensitive information, according to multiple reports. ABC News first reported that Special Counsel Jack Smith had learned about Trump's disclosure to the billionaire, a cardboard magnate named Anthony Pratt, as part of his investigation into the former president's handling of classified documents. Trump allegedly told Pratt several government secrets about the submarines during an event at his Mar-a-Lago club and residence in Florida, where the billionaire is a member. Pratt reportedly told prosecutors and FBI agents that he brought up the submarine fleet in April of 2021 after Trump had left the White House. The former president then revealed the supposed number of nuclear warheads that are on board U.S. submarines at any time and how close the vessels can get to a Russian submarine without detection. The billionaire, ABC News added, shared that information with at least 45 people. Bro, how many other people has Donald Trump told things like this to? Right, that no one surprised Fritzl whatsoever. That's what I'm saying. Like, bro, like there's no way that this is the only person he did this to. There's no chance. Like, bro, like how many people did he just randomly tell things like this to? I mean, look at him. He's such an idiot, man. Including 3 former Australian prime ministers, a half dozen journalists, and other foreign officials. Australia recently inked a deal with the United States to spend up to $245 billion over the next 3 decades to build a fleet of nuclear-powered submarines. Money well spent, yes, indeed. It's unclear if the details were accurate or if they were bluster or exaggerations, but ABC News reported that Pratt was informed by investigators not to share the number he was reportedly given. I mean, bruh, like, he's just. I mean, like, bro, like this dude, man. He just like. There's no chance that he hasn't done that with like 10, 15 other people just because he thought it was cool. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. You don't know my music. No. Look, this is how insecure he is. Look. Fox News will show a poll of Donald Trump beating everybody by like 40 points. And then he'll get mad. No. They'll show a poll of him beating everybody by 30 points. And then he'll get mad because they didn't show the one where he was beating everybody by 40 points. Like, because beating everyone by 30, that's not good enough. As if no one else could go and look at the polls. He's just ridiculous, man. He just sits up all day and all night watching TV, scrolling the web to see who exactly it is that's talking good or bad about him. He cannot help himself. Like, he's just. Ramaswamy's claim his campaign vehicle was attacked by protesters debunked by the cops. When GOP presidential hopeful Vivek Ramaswamy was in Iowa on Thursday afternoon, October 5th, his campaign's vehicle was hit by another motorist. The Ramaswamy campaign, according to the Des Moines Register, claimed that their vehicle had been rammed by protesters in the town of Grinnell. But Grinnell police investigated the incident and found that it was merely an accident. The woman who accidentally backed into the Ramaswamy campaign's vehicle, police say, was unconnected to the pro-Ukraine protest that took place in Grinnell. The Grinnell Police Department on October 5th issued a statement saying their investigation has revealed no evidence to substantiate the Ramaswamy campaign's claim that their vehicle was attacked by protesters. According to the statement, the driver stated he was not in the area to the protest. She was not, sorry. She did not know who the vehicle she struck belonged to. She did not intentionally back into the vehicle, and she did not flee the scene of the accident. He lied. He lied. What a surprise. Vivek told a fib. Oh. Galvatron, what's going on? What's going on? Right, exactly. Ain't nobody tripping off you that hard, Vivek. No one actually thinks that you're gonna become president, nor does anyone think that you're even gonna be the nominee. Don't worry, bro. You're okay with your billions. He's a billionaire. He's doing just fine. He's doing just fine. Hold up. Caitlin Collins, excuse me. Caitlin Collins makes House Republicans squirm with question about a Trump speakership. That was a pretty big sigh from you.
Well, that's interesting you said that because Trump is coming. Apparently, he's considering it it's likely, I am told by sources, to the Capitol on Tuesday as you are having your candidate forum the day before you're going to have your actual speaker. He's claiming tonight that he could actually take the job as House Speaker on a short-term basis. Do you believe that that can happen?
Look, there's a part of me that just sitting down and buying tickets to watch the chaos would be incredibly entertaining to see what the Democrats just created. But in a, I guess, more serious fashion, look, my focus is on restoring functionality and stability. My guess is, just based upon precedent, that the next Speaker of the House is going to be a member of the House of Representatives. But as you have seen and I have seen, there are a few members of Congress that have said that they think that he would be a viable speaker. But as you know, there has not been an external speaker. I think that while the Constitution does provide for it, I think we're going to have a member of the House that's Speaker of the House.
That was a pretty big sigh from you. Are you saying that you don't think Trump should come on Tuesday, that it's not helpful?
I didn't say that at all. It's just that when you look already.
Well, do you feel that way?
I'm sorry?
Do you feel that his influence there, his presence on Tuesday night is not helpful?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that we're in this situation where we have chaos, we have uncertainty, and I do think that his presence is certainly going to add another dynamic of excitement.
And two, like, I'm sorry, but they, these Republican politicians can blame Democrats all they want, but that's not selling. It's the Republicans who look bad, not Democrats. You feel me? Like, the Democrats made a good move getting Kevin McCarthy out of here. Why? Because he's not a Democrat. You feel me? Like, this is good partisan politics. Y'all need to beat them. You need to make them look stupid. You need to make Republicans look like they don't want to govern, because they don't want to govern. Make them look like what they are. This is a good move on the Democrats' part. Don't you feel me? Like, what they supposed to just let y'all do what you want to do? No. So all of them filing up to do this was a good move. All right, we got Mike Pillow. Mike Pillow is losing everything. Look at that. They roasted him playing this shit in the beginning. Oh yeah, LV, I saw you say it's in Chicago. A friend of mine, she texted me this morning and said it was like 49 degrees last night in Chicago or something like that. That lake, man, that lake be having Chicago cold, man. Chicago be cold in the wintertime, bruh. Like, man. I did forget to share the screen. I forgot to share the screen again. Exactly what happened. Big flaming this dude. Again, like, how unnecessary, bro. Mike Lindell bounced back from being on crack, man. Being on crack, bruh. Bro, like. Oh, my bad. Yeah, everybody was just kicking it in the chat. Wasn't nobody even tripping. But no, seriously though, like, really think about this. Like, take Mike Lindell's politics out of this, right? Mike Lindell was a crack addict, and he beat it. Started a business, did very well. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude did well for himself, and like, just like Brother Soul Life saying, he shifted from crack to Trump, and then he back on it. You feel me? Like, the dude really turned his life around, and for what?
Lumpy Pillow. Yeah.
Well,
Lawyers defending.
It's kind of rainy in New York City.
Yeah.
Kind of some sad music to help you jump out of bed.
Yeah.
At 6:45 a.m. on the East Coast. Poor Mr. Pillow.
I know.
You know, he didn't learn the lesson that my grandfather told me. He
What
said,
was that?
Joey, if you're going to start a business selling lumpy pillows.
You shouldn't sell lumpy
He
pillows.
said, no, but my granddad said, but if you are,
Yeah.
said, just make sure at the same time you don't spread a lot of conspiracy theories and try to do your part to overturn American democracy.
It's a bad mix.
That was one thing. He told me that was like number two. Number one was don't go swimming right after a big meal. So there are a lot of things. These are some basics, right?
Yeah.
Willie's grandfather told him the same thing. These are just some basics. You do it,
Please don't.
you either get cramps or you go bankrupt.
Yeah.
And I mean, come on, Willie. Does this guy not have a granddad telling him this stuff?
And during the 30 minutes you wait between the meal and the swimming, don't call for martial law during a presidential election, that kind of stuff. You don't want to be doing any of that. And by the way, I've never tried the MyPillow, so I don't want to disparage it. But generally speaking, what you want is a nice, flat, cool pillow. You don't want all those lumps interrupting your sleep all night.
Really?
No.
It's just
all right. I guess if we don't laugh.
It's like you're hiking the Appalachian Trail. Your neck is like up and down and up and down. Am I to Maine yet? Good God. I know you're still in Tennessee.
Y'all just hear it, but you can't see it. Well, you heard it. You heard it at least. There you go. I'll share something else. All right, let's see what's up. Now, G actually just sent me, emailed me something from Legal. And I think we should check that out. He just sent me an update on Trump and his corporate death penalty. So we're gonna check that out in a sec. But first, we have one more thing to look through. Hold on, give me 1 sec. Because y'all must have rewound it and went back. Y'all must not be live with me. Let's see. Now, Donald Trump went on ahead and broke the gag order because, of course, it's Donald Trump. Why wouldn't he do that? This is what he does. What gag order? Trump fundraising email blast, sham trial, and tyrant's thirst for power. Former President Donald Trump used his civil fraud trial in New York as a campaign opportunity, and another gag order hasn't stopped him from railing against his political enemies. On Tuesday, Judge Arthur Engoron, who is presiding over Trump's business fraud trial, imposed a partial gag order on the former president after he posted and later deleted a baseless attack on Engoron's principal law clerks, Allison R. Greenfield. But even while calling the New York trial a sham, Trump's latest campaign email cited the previous gag order requested last week by Special Prosecutor Jack Smith as evidence that he was being censored. God, bro, and look at all of it, bro. Look at all of this, man. Like, what is wrong with this dude? Right, exactly, bro. Just put the dude in jail, man, because clearly, like you said, Galvatron, it appears that that's where he wants to be. Like, bro, look at this, man. Look at all of this.
We're barely into the new month, and the deep state Democrats are already coming after me with everything they've got.
Because of you.
A sham trial in New York was not enough to satisfy these tyrants' thirst for power. Now the Biden Department of Justice is once again requesting a gag order against me.
I'm tired of him, bro. I'm tired of this dude, bro. Like, his petulance, his childishness. He's just, I mean, bro, like, I'm sick of this guy, man. Like, if you would shut up, they wouldn't give you a gag order, bro. You're almost 80 years old. Just shut up.
A hearing has officially been scheduled for October 16th to decide whether or not the Department of Justice can get away with censoring me. In other words, in just a few short weeks, Crooked Joe's weaponized DOJ may very well get away with stripping Biden's leading opponent, me, of his...
Just in case you didn't know who it was. Yeah, of course he didn't, right? He said it and someone wrote it out for him better.
Of his First Amendment right to freedom of speech in the 2024 presidential election. We are watching the ruling regime commit election interference in broad daylight, But no matter the outcome of the October 16th gag order hearing, the deep state can never gag the American people.
Bro, he's so miserable. Like, I'm trying to imagine what it would be like. Yes, just let it, right, just succumb to his diet. But like, bro, like imagine what it would be like to be Donald Trump. The insecurity. He's never comfortable. Ever. He's oh God, he's okay. And then Trump danced around the gag order. And what does he say?
Just arrived at the witch hunt trial taking place in the very badly failing, so badly, state of New York, where people and companies are fleeing by the thousands. Corrupt Attorney General Letitia James is a big reason for this. Statute 6312 is meant to be used for consumer fraud. It has never been used on a case such as this, especially since I did absolutely nothing wrong.
I did absolutely nothing wrong.
I borrowed money, paid it back in full, and got sued years later with a trial right in the middle of my campaign. I am not even entitled under any circumstances to a jury.
That's also because of you.
This witch hunt cannot be allowed to continue. It is election interference and the start of communism right here in America.
Later on Wednesday, Trump added in another post. And again, here's the thing, bro. Like, this right here is him admitting to being a fraud. This is literally him admitting to being a fraud.
Her papers are the fraudulent ones, not mine, and she doesn't have a disclaimer clause.
So basically what he's saying, every time he brings up the disclaimer clause, what he's saying is that his financial disclosure statements aren't legit. So bro, like, come on, bro. Yes, it's his idiot lawyer, but that's also him. That's his fault. All of this is his stupid, ridiculous fault. But again, like when he says this stuff, the disclaimer clause, it's like, bro, you can't stop saying this. What you're saying is that you are a professional con artist. That's what you're saying.
You
know what I'm saying? Like,
none of my financial statements are accurate.
Oh, okay. Like, I mean, God, he's just, and he's losing in court too, bro. So like I'm saying, we haven't even begun to see him lose his mind. He's gonna keep on getting worse. And that's what's gonna beat him. What's gonna take Donald Trump down isn't that, people don't want to vote for him or that people love Joe Biden. It's because of him. Like, it's not more complicated than that. Like, he has no political aspirations. He doesn't know what the hell he wants to do in politics whatsoever.
It might be banking on something similar as far as the U.S. is concerned. That's where your act, America's Act, comes in. The Cold War with China highlighted the problem as demonstrated by the COVID-19 supply chain disasters. Our divorce from China, more than a decade in the making, is now a reality. We now know we cannot productively work with China. Your act does what, Senator?
Yeah, our act creates a Western Hemispheric prosperity zone, if you will, which will be good for American workers, give us trading partners in South America. It'll also be good for us all because our idea is to create a system to help weed out the corruption in Latin America. Now, if you can create an investment environment where American companies will go and invest, or European countries, jobs come back from China to go to Latin America, people have a job, and they decide to stay home instead of migrating to the United States.
All right, now we're going to check out this breakdown from Legal Eagle. We're going to check this out because the boy Donald Trump is just not doing well, man. He just isn't. And that's what I'm saying, bro. Like, if the election was in a month or two, then that'd be another story. But it's over a year away. And like every day, Donald Trump does something to get himself in more trouble. We just read 3 posts and emails from him breaking the gag order. Like he's a clown. He is an absurd clown. We're gonna take a quick little puff, and then we're gonna get into this legal breakdown of what is going on. And shout out to G for sending this through. Shout out for him to him for sending this through to us. Go ahead and take a quick little hit from this, and then we gonna watch this breakdown. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, bro, like I really, like I said, like, bro, Donald Trump is such a stain on anyone's resume. Let 5-10 years go past. You like, you remember when you loved Donald Trump? I mean, because, bro, like, he's, again, like with other politicians, you can point to more like things like, okay, I don't like this policy that they're responsible for. I don't like the fact that they, support this, or that they're corrupt, or they take money from these people. But with Donald Trump, it's just like, he's just a clown through and through, nothing else. So it's like there's no real reason to be a part of his team. There's just not. At least with Joe Biden, you could be like, well, he did good things for the unions and XYZ. But with Trump, it's just like, bro, he has 91 felonies. Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, that you really this is your dude? Like, you support him, but have it in you to criticize other people. Like, how do you support Donald Trump but have something to say about anyone else? Like, it doesn't make sense. It's so stupid. Like, seriously, if you excuse me, if you support Donald Trump, like, bro, like, you have no credibility. You have no credibility to, like, for anything. I'm sorry, you don't. You've been Trump too? I don't think I've seen that, Tina, but it sounds like something I should check out. All right, let's see what's up. Let's see what's up with Trump, man. Let's see what's going on with this fraud case. Trump gets the corporate death penalty, and it's getting worse.
The Trump Organization just got nuked from orbit. It's not getting a lot of press, but this is a blockbuster ruling that just put Trump's entire business empire in jeopardy, and it's just going to get worse for him. And this likely isn't just some slap on the wrist that he can get out of. No, this looks like it's really going to hurt Trump in the place that he really cares about, his pocketbook. Now, New York Judge Arthur Engoron has ruled that Trump committed financial fraud by overstating the value of his assets. The judge canceled the New York business certificates of all 131 companies related to Trump and his sons in New York, stripping the ability of the Trump family to do business in that state. And at the time of this video, the Trump group is currently in trial over the other fraud allegations. It's being presided by none other than the same Judge Engoron, and it's not going well. It's a bench trial because apparently Trump's lawyer, Alina Habba, forgot to check the box to request a jury trial. She really earned that F-tier ranking. But even before trial, the judge's order on the first count is catastrophic.
Bro, how do you not? I mean, look, what's the point of you even being there, bro? Like, how do you not give him you put Donald Trump is one of the biggest frauds in the country, and you don't give him a jury? You just leave this up to a judge who Donald Trump criticizes every day. He criticizes the judge every day who's in a position to do what he's doing to him, and you don't give him a jury? Bro, like, what's the point of you? He might as well represent himself at this point.
And the repercussions from this are staggering. This is like bankruptcy, but much worse. And as you may know, the New York Attorney General filed charges alleging that the Trump Organization committed fraud for at least a decade involving conduct across more than 23 different properties and other assets. We did a video on this complaint, which you can watch for a deep dive into those allegations. But here's a quick recap. When valuing the Trump properties, the Trump Organization would change methodology on how to value the properties from year to year, or even within the same year, depending on who they were talking to. Some of the fraud was allegedly accomplished through sophisticated accounting sleight of hand, but other acts were blatant and easy to detect. For example, Trump estimated that his own triplex apartment in Trump Tower was 30,000 square feet when it was actually 10,996 square feet. In 2015, Trump valued the apartment at $327 million in total.
And again, it's just like, okay, Trump, so all of this is fake, all of this is a lie. And again, that's why I'm saying, like, he'd be like,
well, actually, the financial statements have a giant disclaimer on the top of it.
bro, you just said that you're a con artist. That's all that means. Like, he's an idiot.
$29,738 per square foot. That price was absurd since at that point, only one apartment in New York City had ever been sold for more than $100 million. And that sale was in a newly built ultra-tall tower. No apartment in the 30-year-old Trump Tower has ever sold for more than $16.5 million. And he allegedly, well, no, I guess at this point it's not alleged anymore. It's been proven that he used the same trick with his Florida real estate. The attorney general said that Trump valued.
Like, bro, this dude, it's like he's caught red-handed. Like, bro, this dude, he's done. He's done, bro. Like, this dude is finished. He just hasn't dropped out, or it's not even about him dropping out because he ain't gonna do that. But bro, this dude is not gonna become president again. It's not happening.
Mar-a-Lago as high as $739 million, when it should have been valued at around 1/10 that amount, or
he can't handle it, man.
$75 million. Attorney General Letitia James said that the higher valuation was, quote, based on the false premise that it was unrestricted property and could be developed for residential use, even though Mr. Trump himself signed deeds donating his residential development rights and sharply restricting changes to the property. And the judge discussed Mar-a-Lago quite a bit in his detailed order. Here's a quick rundown because it shows how Trump gamed the system and why he's in big trouble now. When Palm Beach County, Florida denied Trump the right to develop the property, Trump established a conservation easement, which is basically a restriction in the deed that says he won't develop the property. That gave him a tax write-off because now he can't build houses or anything else on that property. However, Trump then told lenders that the property was worth a lot of money because someone could come along and develop it, which was an obvious lie. It appears that he gave the conservation easement because there was nothing that he could do with that particular land.
LV, does that make it any better? No, it doesn't make it any better because Donald Trump uses it as a claim for you not to trust his financial documents. So it still doesn't change anything. Him saying that is him saying, I'm a con artist, everybody, everyone. I commit fraud for a living. Like that doesn't make it better at all.
And Trump's
like,
various
this dude, bro, like he's finished. He can't make money anymore, and he cares about that. And he has 91 felonies to beat, and that shit ain't happening.
business entities played these games with property valuation for decades.
We just got to get better Democrats in the race, so we just got to get more Democrats in the race. I'm not worried about Trump no more. You can disagree with me, but I'm not worried about Trump anymore. He's done. But we 2028, that's really when we got a whole lot of new opportunities. But man, Donald Trump, this dude ain't shit, man. Get this dude out of here.
Filed a civil enforcement action against the companies and referred the case to federal prosecutors in the Southern District of New York. So far, the feds have declined to indict Trump on these charges, but the New York Attorney General's enforcement action brought 7 causes of action under New York.
Oh yeah, LV, I'm just talking shit too. I'm just going in on the dude. I'm just talking shit about the man because it's just like no matter what he does, no matter how hard he tries, he can't hide this from people. Because that's what I'm saying. It's like other politicians, I don't like that you supported this. I don't like that you supported that. But other politicians don't take nuclear secrets and store them next to the fucking toilet. Who does that? Like, get this dude out of here, man. I'm tired of this man.
Executive Law Section 6312. This law authorizes the New York Attorney General to bring civil lawsuits to enjoin repeated fraudulent or illegal acts or persistent fraud or illegality in carrying on, conducting, or transacting of business. Civil penalties for those who violate the law include actual damages, disgorgement of profits, canceling of corporate certificates, and other prohibitions. We'll come back to that later. Now, Trump had already tried to get the lawsuit dismissed at an early stage by claiming that any discrepancies in the valuations of his properties are the fault of his accountants, Mazars, but he lost that effort on appeal. On summary judgment, Trump raised all the same defenses, and that made Judge Engoron very unhappy. The judge wrote the, quote, defendant's arguments that OAG has neither capacity nor standing to sue under Executive Law 6312, and that the disclaimers of non-party accounts...
That's what we should have named it. It should have been Fuck 'em Friday. Because we just going ham today.
Mazars insulate defendants invoke the time loop in the film Groundhog Day. This court emphatically rejected these arguments, and in its preliminary injunction decision and in its dismissal decision, and the First Department affirmed both. Defendants' contention that a different procedural posture mandates a reconsideration or a fortiori, a reversal, is pure sophistry. So here's Legal Eagle pro tip number 1. When the judge compares your argument to the film Groundhog Day and accuses you of sophistry, you're about to get a legal beatdown. Now, the gist of Trump's argument here was that the New York AG wasn't really
in a room with nothing but a copy machine. Like, you know,
There's only a copy machine in this room because I don't want to be confused about what I'm supposed to do when I come in here. When I come in the room, this is the copy room. There's nothing else but a copy machine, and there's a bunch of secret documents from the White House right next to the copy machine. But I shouldn't be in trouble for this.
Acting in the interest of consumer protection. And this prompted the judge to call out Trump's lawyers for adding the word consumer to a legal decision that does not appear anywhere in the decision. As the judge explained, quote, defendants glaringly misrepresent the requirement of an Executive Law 6312 cause of action. Citing to People versus Nonam Leasing Systems, the defendants assert that OAG must show the practice is one likely to mislead a reasonable consumer, acting reasonably under the circumstances. However, the word consumer did not appear anywhere in that reference decision, and defendants' characterization of its holding is inaccurate. Additionally, Trump tried to argue that the state can't sue him because the statements of financial condition that he filed with the state contain disclaimers from his accountants that they haven't been audited, and therefore the company can't say whether the financial statements comply with generally accepted accounting principles, or GAAP. The judge rejected this argument.
Don't believe anything you read. Some people call it a worthless clause because it makes the statement and anything you read in the statement worthless. It says go out and do your own research, go out and do your own due diligence. You have to study the statement carefully. Do not believe anything.
Quote, those non-party disclaimers do not insulate the defendants from liability, as they plainly state that Donald J. Trump is responsible for the preparation and fair presentation of the financial statement in accordance with accounting principles generally accepted in the United States of America. And that's extremely common. The accountants need that disclaimer because they're relying on the information that the company provides them. The company can't use that disclaimer to say that they weren't responsible for providing accurate information. Not surprisingly, Mazars dropped Trump as a client in 2022, citing his misleading and probably fraudulent personal financial statements. Next, the judge excoriates Trump for repeating another argument that several courts have already rejected, namely that disgorgement of profits is unavailable as a matter of law when the OAG has not alleged specific financial losses. The judge reminds Trump that an appeals court has already, quote, made it clear in this very case that we have already held that the failure to allege losses does not require dismissal of a claim for disgorgement under Executive Law 6312. Now that's a big one because Trump, at least publicly, has been arguing that no one was harmed by his misrepresentations, the banks got paid back, and therefore there are no damages.
No bank was affected, no bank was hurt. They don't even know why they have to be involved.
But this law allows the Attorney General to make the Trump organization disgorge any profit that they made related to these misrepresentations during this time period. And who knows, that could be a lot of money. And continuing with some truly F-tier lawyering, Trump's attorneys cited a case that has been superseded and overruled, and they also cited the court's decision in the Trump University case, where, quote, the First Department unambiguously declared that the Attorney General is in fact authorized to bring a cause of action for fraud under Executive Law 6312. Now that brings up,
of course, a lot of people will still vote for him. Shit, in 2016, I think 10,000 people voted for Harambe. You know what I'm saying? So I'm really not concerned about this. I think it's, you know, we got to play our part, but I think it's silly to really just, you know, let's just get Democrats in office and let Trump and the Republicans continue to fuck themselves. You know what I'm saying? They haven't been in this bad of a position ever that I can remember, especially for House races and stuff. But I personally am just not like, I really don't, I don't see Trump winning. This country's not going to vote for a convicted felon. That's not happening.
As to Legal Eagle pro tip number 2, drawing attention to a case that resulted in your client paying $25 million to settle fraud claims is rarely a good strategy, especially when your client is going on trial for more fraud. But here's Legal Eagle pro tip number 3. Misrepresenting the precedent and repeating arguments that you already lost puts you on shaky ground with judges. And as Judge Engoron put it, quote, in rejecting such arguments for the second time, this court cautioned that sophisticated counsel should have known better. However, the court declined to impose sanctions, believing it had made its point. Apparently, the point was not received. And the court continued, quote, defendant's conduct in reiterating these frivolous arguments is egregious. We are way beyond the point of sophisticated counsel should have known better. We're at the point of intentional and blatant disregard of controlling authority and law of the case. This court emphatically rejected these arguments, as did the First Department. Defendant's repetition of them here is indefensible. And would you believe it? These lawyers then got sanctioned for thousands.
I just personally think it's goofy when people are terrified that Trump's gonna win. The motherfucker just lost, and he's in the. I'm never ever going to sound the alarm that Trump's gonna win. That's not coming from me. If I felt that way, I would say it, but I can't honestly believe that. Like, he already lost, and he's in all this. Like, I don't see. Like, I think it's goofy to be worried about that.
Of dollars. Now, there are two categories of conduct that can subject a party to liability under Executive Law 6312, acts that are fraudulent and acts that are illegal. The Attorney General alleges that the Trump defendants engaged in both fraudulent and illegal acts, but moved for summary judgment only as to fraud. And there's a very good reason for this. Executive Law 6312 broadly construes fraud to, quote, include acts characterized as dishonest or misleading. And the statute prescribes any acts committed in the conduct of business that have the capacity or tendency to deceive, or that create an atmosphere conducive to fraud. Such acts include those committed through any scheme to defraud, and those through misrepresentation, concealment, suppression, or false pretense. And in addition to the business entities themselves, individual defendants may also be liable for fraud under Section 6312 if they personally participated in it or had actual knowledge of it, as when they create an enterprise conducive to fraud through their supervision of the enterprise. And crucially here, the Attorney General does not have to prove that an intent to defraud or reliance. This was one of the holdings of the lawsuit against Trump University, that fraud under Section 6312 may be established without proof of scienter or reliance. And we've talked about—
I just don't feel like being scared and worried. I got better shit to do than to be scared and worried. Let's just do what we need to do. It's just a waste of energy.
Mental states on this channel a lot. Some conduct can be illegal or legal depending on what mental state the person has when they engage in that conduct. And here, a lot of these violations can occur without any intentionality whatsoever, which, you know, is bad news when you have proof that the thing has happened. Now, if your company ever gets nuked like Trump's, then you'll need a good lawyer. But if you want a great lawyer, my firm, the Eagle Team, can help. If you've had an injury or death in the family, suffered a data breach, or are dealing with Social Security disability or workers' comp issues, we can represent you or find you the right attorney who can. Just click on the link in the description for a free consultation with my team. Because you don't just need a legal team, you need the Eagle Team. Link is down below. But now back to Trump's problems. And here, James has argued that the statements of financial condition were false and misleading. The Trump defendants said that they were neither false nor misleading.
No, all I know is I'm not about to be scared of no bitch ass Donald Trump. Y'all can be scared of him, but I ain't finna be scared of him. Fuck that.
Because, quote, there's no such thing as objective value, and there's nothing wrong with adjusting valuations because of factors such as the value of the Trump brand. As the court put it, quote, thus defendants essentially argue that value is inherently subjective, that because internal brand valuations are in the eye of the beholder, here Donald Trump, they cannot be overvalued. And the Trump defendants argued that banks and insurance companies weren't misled because they never would have relied on the financial statements alone. As the court put it, quote, defendant's stance is, practically speaking, that they may submit false SFCs as long as the recipients know from their own due diligence that the information is false. The judge said accepting this premise would ignore decades of settled law that property valuation is objective, not subjective, and that market value is the most reliable way to establish how much a property is worth. Now, of course, there is a kernel of truth in the defendant's argument that the property valuation isn't an exact science. And experts can certainly disagree. And sometimes you have different valuations for the purposes of tax basis versus reliance.
I'm gonna need y'all to replace this fear with courage. Fuck all this fear, man. Fuck all this being scared shit. Replace that with courage. Replace it with conviction. Fuck all that shit, man. Ain't no time. We got to be strong over here. Don't fuck these people.
For collateral. But as the judge explained, the problem for Trump is that these were not small discrepancies. Quote, what OAG has established in many cases by clear, indisputable documentary evidence is not a matter of rounding errors or reasonable experts disagreeing. OAG has submitted conclusive evidence that between 2014 and 2021, defendants overvalued the assets reported on the SFCs between 17.27 and 38.51%. This amounts to a discrepancy of between $812 million and $2.2 billion. Even in the world of high finance, this court cannot endorse a proposition that finds misstatements of at least $812 million to be immaterial. Defendants have failed to identify any authority for the notion that discrepancies of this magnitude demonstrated here could be considered immaterial. And that's why the Attorney General moved for summary judgment, effectively a trial on paper, just on one count, a standalone violation of Executive Law 6312. And to prove—
So basically, we almost all the way through this, but he's basically just running down how he's in the process of losing everything. I'm wondering how big the fine is going to be, because he's going to get the fine. Okay, so let's go to the ramifications.
That is based on unexplained and unsubstantiated dreams. So with that, we can finally talk about the staggering ramifications from this order. The judge ruled that the attorney general demonstrated liability on behalf of all the named individual defendants on count 1, including Trump, Donald Trump Jr., Eric Trump, Alan Weisselberg, and Jeff McConey. And as for the entity defendants, parent corporations can only be held liable for the acts of its subsidiaries if the parent exercised complete dominion and control over the subsidiary. And the judge found that, quote, it is undisputed that Donald Trump, through one corporate form or another, exercised complete control over the umbrella of entities operating in furtherance of or on behalf of the Trump organization. And the attorney general established liability.
Very true. And you know, shit, at the end of the day, we can, you know what I'm saying? Fear is natural. But, you know, we just got to stand up and do what we got to do, which I know all of y'all will do, and all of y'all do. But no, I'm just me personally. And again, this is just my opinion and how I see it. I'm just one person, but I personally do not think that Trump is going to win re-election. And the reason I think that isn't because Biden is so popular. I just think that Trump's going to keep on getting in so much trouble that it ain't going to happen. You know what I'm saying? I could be wrong about that, but until I see things go the other way from him, then that's my opinion and what I think. And yeah, that's just my opinion.
On behalf of all the named entity defendants. When the litigation started, the judge granted the attorney general a preliminary injunction and appointed Barbara Jones as an independent monitor to ensure that there is no further fraud or illegal activity. And on August 23rd, Jones told the judge that the defendants had continued to commit the same acts. Quote, even with a preliminary injunction in place and with an independent monitor overseeing their compliance, defendants have continued to disseminate false and misleading information while conducting business. And this includes setting up Trump Organization 2, a corporate entity that defendants established in Delaware back in October of 2022, which looks an awful lot like an attempt to offload assets before the case went to trial. But with the corporate monitor in place, it's unlikely that they could have succeeded there. We'll actually see what happens with the details there. But all of this is why the judge dissolved the business certificates of 10 Trump business entities, ending their ability to do business in New York. The corporations are legal fictions.
He gonna die choking on a big chunk of the Big Mac. He gonna have a Big Mac in his mouth and a Diet Coke in his other hand.
And when you take away and dissolve those companies, they can no longer own property or shield the beneficial owners. And the order includes, quote, any other entity controlled or beneficially owned by the individual defendants found liable here. Now, the Trump Organization includes about 500 entities, and although only 10 were explicitly included in this order, they own some of Trump's biggest assets, including the property at 40 Wall Street in Manhattan and the golf course in Scotland. Barbara Jones will continue to oversee the finance.
I respect Cenk's mission to get Biden off the ticket, but I think that Cenk is not quite as alarmed about it as he's giving off. Like, there, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think he's just trying to get more people to run, and I think he's trying to get people to, you know, a lot of people don't want Biden, so he's trying to get him to drop out, which I respect. And part of how he's going about it is by saying like, Biden's gonna lose, he's gonna lose, but I don't think he's like totally convinced about that because of everything that's happening. But I definitely respect his mission for sure.
Finances of the Trump Organization pending any further rulings, and obviously Trump is going to appeal here. And the trial is currently proceeding on the other 6 counts: falsifying business records, conspiracy to falsify business records, filing false financial statements, conspiracy to file false financial statements, insurance fraud, and conspiracy to commit insurance fraud. And by all accounts, it's going very poorly so far. Expect to follow a video on that very soon. And Letitia James is seeking at least $250 million and has asked the court to permanently bar Trump from serving as an officer or director of any business in New York and prohibit him from acquiring any real estate or applying for a loan in the state for 5 years. And the AG wants the same restrictions for Don Jr. and Eric Trump. And the ramifications of this ruling are enormous, with lawyers describing it as the corporate death penalty. The Trump entities are essentially in a receivership, which is a situation where a receiver or trustee is appointed
to get commander in office,
manage the entire company, its assets, and all financial and operating decisions until the companies are wound down. Barbara Jones is in this role right now, and the Trump entities won't be able to buy or sell anything without her approval, and there'll be a long process of figuring out which assets all the Trump companies own and who their creditors are. And if this order is upheld, the Trump Organization's assets will have to be liquidated to pay off all of the creditors, and the fact that these corporate entities can no longer own any property. And that means that they could be put up for auction and...
Hey, you trying to get Madara and Donzo up in there. Shit, Twin Dragon, you trying to turn us into some authoritarianism for real. Look at you. I thought I thought you was progressive. What's going on? What's going on? But nah, yeah. Look, listen again. Like I 100% know that Trump could win, but my opinion is he won't. And again, not because Biden is gonna be so much popular. It's just because every day he breaks a gag order, or he says "fuck the judge," or he gets a fine here, or he gets another case, or more indictments. So like that's just my analysis of it. It just seems like I don't see how this old ass, crazy ass old man can handle all of this and still run a decent campaign. So I could be wrong, but I just unless things take a 180 and go the other direction, then I have to be honest about what I think. You know what I'm saying? So, and again, that doesn't speak well of Biden at all. You know what I'm saying? Like that doesn't speak well of Biden, because despite everything that's happened, Donald Trump is up by like 1.5, 2 points. So again, like Biden's only saving grace is going to be that Trump can't stay the fuck out of trouble. You know what I'm saying? Like he can't. And the things that he's done are a big deal. And him going through, again, think about how this is going to affect him mentally. Exactly like LV, like that, something like that would definitely be likely, like him just losing his mind and being like, oh, we got to take this motherfucker over, like something like that. Because it's just like, how can he handle this shit mentally? He's losing everything he's ever worked for, which everything he's ever stolen or conned about. And that matters to him. Everyone can see this. And it's, you know, like, it's just unlikely. But what's crazy is y'all keep pointing out, despite all of this, people are still like, you know what? I think we should give Trump another shot. You feel me? Like, despite all of that, it's really crazy. But yeah, man, I think that again, what's most important at the end of the day, what's most important is that we play our part and focus on these local elections, focus on city council initiatives, so that, you know, if we can't get big policy passed through the federal government, well, maybe we can play our part and get something done through city council. You know what I'm saying? Maybe we can get something done through city council. And that's how, you know, that's what we as a community are going to be focused on here. We got our first members meeting on Sunday night. Thank you to everybody who's become a member. And this Sunday, since it's our first meeting, we're going to be just discussing resource lists and try to kind of narrow down where we'd like to start, how we'd like to start. You know, what different community service projects are available that we can start. And also, we need to identify and pinpoint some cities to begin in. You know what I'm saying? We can't be everywhere at once, and we're still a small group. So we're going to pinpoint and identify some starting areas, and we're going to get to work. That's what we're going to do. The members hangout is Sunday evening, probably at 9 p.m. Eastern time. It looks like everybody kind of more or less was on board for 9 p.m. Sunday evening. So that's when we'll do it. But yeah, we'll get things going. But yeah, man, it's just like, what a time, man. Yeah, shit, I hope I'm right too. I hope I'm right too, because I'm saying, yeah, you done heard me say I could be wrong. Like, of course I could be wrong about it. But I don't see, if Trump could stay out of trouble, this would be a completely different discussion. But the motherfucker can't stay out of trouble, bro. And that matters. It's really insane. And it's a shame that Biden is losing to him. It really is a shame. But I mean, Donald Trump, man, he just can't stay out of trouble. But I appreciate all of you, man. We had a very good week together. A very good Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. You know what I'm saying? Ooh. And then we're going to be back on Monday. Members meeting on Sunday. I really hope that y'all have a good weekend. Do anybody got fun weekend plans? Tomorrow, I'm going to record a commercial for the members section. And then after that, Sunday, we got the meeting. I'll probably kick it with my shorty at some point. Nothing crazy this weekend. Here we go.